Siamo a Cannes sulla Croisette al rooftop di GroupM e incontriamo la CEO di GroupM EMEA, Demet İkiler. Con lei facciamo un po' il punto su qual è la situazione a livello EMEA del mercato dell'advertising in questo momento e le chiediamo quali sono le prospettive di GroupM da qui alla fine dell'anno e magari spingiamoci anche un po' oltre fino al 2023. Demet, thanks for being with us today. We would like to know your perspective on how the market is going. There have been a lot of uncertainties, problems after the pandemics, the war, and the scenery is still very, very much foggy. Nobody has a very clear idea of what's going on. What's your perspective and GroupM's perspective for the next few months until the end of the year? And do you have any visibility after that?
Okay. It's a real pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me, Tommaso. Last year, 2021, has been an extraordinarily good year for us as GroupM, also as our industry. So that was the kind of, pandemic was still there, and we had, different stages of the virus during the year last year. However, if you look at the advertising investment, so we grew tremendously end of last year. So GroupM growth was like around 8% again, which was really sorry, it was not GroupM, but overall industry growth was around 8%, and GroupM grew beyond that. So when we began this year, 2022, we had high expectations about this year, because the impact of the pandemic was kind of normalized, and then we were hopeful to see growth, especially with the development of technology, data, new products, services, e-commerce, new advertisers, and also new markets and new geographies. So we were extremely hopeful to see better growth compared to last year. However, as you know, something very unexpected, something extremely tragic happened, and it's still happening in our region. The war between Russia and Ukraine had a huge impact, obviously, not just on our industry, but across industries.
The whole economy.
In the globe, whole economy, and everywhere. And obviously, neighboring markets suffering more. And if you look at, the Central Eastern European markets and the markets who have a big trade relationship with both countries, they are impacted more. So that's one fact that we need to acknowledge. But other than that, the repercussions of what's happening between these two countries will remain, and we will see further impacts, unfortunately. On the other hand, what I can tell you specifically about us as GroupM, we started the transformation journey just before the pandemic. So 2020 has been the start of the first chapter of GroupM transformations, which we call the synergy. So what did it mean? It was like, us becoming as one business, one group, meaning that we have, as media agencies, we have central businesses, we have back office. So GroupM is like a big, huge organization with different parts of the business is executed in different parts of the organization. So to be able to really exploit the scale, the power, and the depth of the knowledge that we have everywhere in the group, we had to come together. So that was the synergy, right? We've in 2020 we've kind of launched the way we work together, the way we invest in our products, services in a consistent way across the group, and the way we make it relevant for our clients through our media agencies. So it was then the pandemic happened, and it was then I took my role. So that was very unexpected, and I spent the previous 20-something years of my career in Turkey only. So I did different jobs in Turkey, and with WPP I started launching Mindshare and GroupM, and I was the country chair. I still have this title, by the way, in Turkey. So my experience was has been in a country where we had to deal with lots of uncertainties, ambiguities, and that was a real roller coaster journey for me. So when I took this role, the ambition was for me to translate the global strategy into EMEA region, but with the pandemic and everything, we need to, reconsider the priorities. That's why I think my experience coming from Turkey, it was so unexpected, but it was like a bonus, a plus, because I knew how to deal with that kind of uncertainty. So I brought the team together. We focused on our purpose, which is making advertising better for people, for societies, for our clients. So we said, okay, how do we contribute? How do we contribute to our people, to our clients, but also to our societies in these 40 markets that we have in our region? And this is really diverse region, right? I mean, Europe, Middle East and Africa, you could think of all the different markets in this region. So we have the most maybe advanced market in terms of data tech and some, also macroeconomically. And we have also markets, relatively at the, beginning of their, transformation journey.
At the beginning of the journey, yes.
Yeah, that's why I think, as GroupM, the first year was focusing on the basics, fixing the basics, becoming a team together, creating the collaboration platform, and also setting the target and showing people the way how to get there. 2021 was more about understanding the synergies, us as a group, and also creating some efficiencies so we are able to invest in areas where we know will help us to differentiate. And 2022, at the beginning, that was all about growth. So we called it the strategy, the theme of the year, a connected growth. So you asked me, how do you see the 2022? So our focus will still be on the growth. With all these uncertainties, ambiguities, there are still opportunities for us to grow. Grow through new products and services. I mean, we are launching new products and services that are relevant for our clients, especially under these uncertain times. And the investment we did and we still continue doing on the data and technology part. So we started harnessing those, and we're really differentiating with those products and services for our clients. So these are going to be the growth areas for us that we will still keep our focus on, and also that will help us, our clients, to be more kind of successful in their business. The other part is new markets. So we had this focus of top 10 markets globally, top 5 in EMEA. Italy is one of them, extremely important for us, and obviously top 5 will always remain as a priority. But we started looking at the other markets. So there are opportunities in, if you look at the South Africa and the rest of the Africa, it's still very much untouched, but there are great talents there. There are great, tech capabilities you would be amazed to see. So, I mean, including these people, we have our Black communities who we kind of, embraced and made a part of our talent programs and training those people, and also, using the talent we have in different parts of the world for also big markets where we can make the talent exchange, helping with the diversity and inclusion objective, but also really growing talent. Because as you know, the talent, the great resignation as we call it, is the biggest issue our industry
at the
is
moment,
facing.
yes.
It's not just our industry, but our industry is definitely. So we are at the middle of the year, in the middle of the year now, and what we have seen so far, we still see growth. So we're still growing. Even there are a lot of uncertainties in the next half of the year, we keep our hopes high because we've been through the pandemic, and we are now more trained. And if you ask these questions to our global WPP CEO, he says, we're going to get through it. So I mean, it's not just us; it's the world, and we all hope for the war to cease, because it's really extremely tragic, and we are not, there's no way that we can accept it as is. So we're hoping that we go back to normal. However, while expecting this, we are also kind of adapting ourselves to the new situations, and then again keep the focus on the growth. So I think we will be growing again. Our initial estimations for the year end. So we're expecting a growth in the industry around 8% for this year.
Once again, 8% for the
So
whole
that's
industry.
also what we have announced in this year, next year, publication, which I believe will be okay. Especially, it's not going to happen everywhere with those ratios, but growth markets, and if you look at the Middle East, so new markets are adding to the list. And new products, new services, which will help us to grow.
Great. One can feel the passion in your speech about how the economy is going, but I know you've got another passion, and you're very well versed on the side that you mentioned earlier of diversity, equality, inclusion. And my question to you, as an EMEA CEO, is that these kind of topics of issues are very different country by country. Anglo-Saxon, the Anglo-Saxon world has got a racial issue. Italy has got a different kind of issue in gender, maybe. Every country, every culture, more than a country, has got differences. What is your view of what's happening in this scenario, and what can agencies, communicators, and GroupM do to alleviate the problem, to resolve these problems?
Thank you for this question. Yeah, it's been a passion for me. It started with gender, obviously, because I am that woman, right? With the woman from Turkey. I started from scratch, as an assistant media planner almost 30 years ago. So I had a tremendous journey in my career, and I'm extremely grateful, but that was not easy. So there were, a lot of, failures, and, I had to get up again, and I learned from my own mistakes, and, that was kind of extremely exciting, but also a difficult journey. And now that I have the power to influence wider territories within our organization, so I take it even more seriously. As you say, diversity has a different definition in different parts of the world, in different parts of our region as well. So in some markets, it's more like a ethnicity. Some markets, gender is of course there, it's the basic. But if you go to Nordics, for example, they wouldn't identify gender issues as we do in Turkey or in maybe some of the Central Eastern Europe or in Middle East. Italy maybe in a different way. But if you go to Poland, disabled people is a big kind of group they try to include. With what happened in 2020 in June with Black Lives Matter, I was again the new CEO there, and even I've been involved with diversity and inclusion matters for a very long time, and I'm actively working in United Nations Global Compact. I'm Vice President in Turkey, still in charge of the NI chapter. I was a part of the World Economic Forum, gender empowerment, so I've done quite a bit around those things. But Black Lives Matter, my knowledge about that specific topic was super superficial, because that was based on the history books in Turkey and also the Hollywood movies, the combination of both. So I think the diversity issues, you start with learning. The knowledge is extremely important, so I had to learn. That's why I took, I'm still, doing this. I have a mentor, a younger black woman working in our organization in London. So she has become my mentor, and we've kind of launched this program for leadership so that they understand the facts. My mentor, Brenda, was, giving me homeworks. I read books, I had discussions with her, and I had, totally different perspective. DNI is a perspective. That's why I call, you put your DNI glasses on and you start to see the world from that perspective. Once you start seeing the world from that perspective, you face inequalities. You understand why only providing equal opportunities would never be enough. Because these people, the underrepresented ones or disadvantaged ones, they start their journey very much behind compared to others. So providing them equal will not be enough. And also, putting the diversity lenses means that you understand the actual situations they are in. For example, very basic about gender, which would make sense to everybody, I believe. If you just provide equal opportunities to a man and woman, equally successful in their career, if there is a work travel needed, but at the end of this work travel, someone will get a promotion, let's say. And you tell them, you both go there, and then let's see who does better. If, let's say, it's a client pitch, so they go and the man is super comfortable. I'm speaking maybe more like generally, but 95% of the cases is like this still in our communities. The man goes there because he doesn't need to think about the child care or elderly care. The wife will take care of, or he wouldn't see himself the primary responsible for that kind of chores. And then there is this woman who needs to, first of all, when she hears that, okay, she starts planning, okay, children, my mom, so I need to arrange this, blah, blah, blah, blah. And also I need to maybe make ready the food in the freeze for my husband so he wouldn't complain when he comes home. So it's like more like it's also culturally, it starts from our childhood when we are a child in the family, so we kind of, unconsciously we start building
a mindset
which has become our destiny, and if we don't change that. That's why I think providing, so we should be able to say to the woman, okay, we understand, so either we give you extra time to make those arrangements, or we help you with those arrangements, or if possible, rather than both of you going there, we'll invite the client to the agency. So I'm just making this.
Yes.
This could be options, maybe there could be many more options. That's for just one case, but I think if we do this as a part of our policies, how we favor women, how we understand their circumstances and help them extra, and if they're not, or promote them without waiting longer. If we just push them a little, a colleague yesterday said in a panel, it's not discrimination, but it's kind of positive acceleration. So I really like that. It's like, let's accelerate that. So it's same for all underrepresented groups. So understanding, so knowledge is important, understanding, what's the real circumstances for them, and then provide solutions accordingly, or create extra opportunities or possibilities for these people. So this is what we've been doing. It's a combined efforts of, first of all, us. So the first year in our budget meetings, before our budget meetings, so I gave people 2 extra points to think of. One was, how do you describe diversity in your region? And then the answers came. Some of our colleagues, they never had to think about that. But then again, that was really great that they start thinking, oh, how do I define the diversity in my own country? And the second one, and how would you mobilize your people to overcome? How would you create the advantages? So that was what we started doing this at the global level, regional level, GroupM, people operations, and the HR teams. They're putting in place a lot of extra policies, programs, for example, for women who kind of left the businesses because of, personal reason at early ages, and we're welcoming them back with extra support programs. And we started the programs in the US and the UK, especially helping also the diverse background women. But now it's becoming more like an across the group kind of a program. So that's also one of the examples. But on the other hand, this is what we can do for our people to promote them in our communities, to embrace them, to make them feel that they belong to our organization. And also the power of our work as GroupM, our relationship with our strategic partners, and we have the power to really make an environment for our clients, for our media owners, for our partners to contribute to this journey. So that's the other dimension, which is, for example, we have this platform we call a responsible investment framework, where we have different tools, products, and services which we provide to our clients and to our media owners, so that we help them to contribute to the cause. Media inclusion list is one of them. So we make sure in different parts of the world, we make sure that we include diverse media owners in the list, because sometimes they are small. If we don't, prioritize them or favor them, they would never make it to our list. So specifically in the US, for example, it's for black owned media
Yes.
platform. So if it's in Turkey, it would have been something like it should still make sense if we have like women-owned media platforms. So the other things that we are doing, the Positive Intent Fund, another I think important initiatives. So GroupM has been investing into content for many years through Motion Content Group. So this is the business where we finance, premium content, long-form content in TV, cinemas, and sometimes we also partner with our clients and then we sponsor those contents. But now with the Positive Intent Fund, we're asking to our clients like, okay, just allocate a percentage of your content investment specifically to produce content for, diverse messages. A refugee having a leading role in a content, if it makes sense, it should be whatever, as long as it's relevant for that specific market. So producing that kind of content is also we're investing together with our clients or sometimes on our own to produce that kind of content, and so that the messages are widely spread and we can create a bigger impact.
An impact to change the mindset
Exactly.
of not just the industry, but the whole people. Just people. Benissimo, abbiamo sentito molte cose interessanti. Ringraziamo Demet İkiler, CEO EMEA di GroupM, e per ADV Express TV Tommaso Ridolfi dalla Croisette è tutto.